Predators just don't sit around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 8 of The Check-In. We just got out of The Predator, or as the subs like to say it, Predator in IMAX. We saw the first one right before seeing this one. I saw the first one when I was kind of young, and this was your first time, so why don't we just briefly talk about that first film and then go into the sequel. So, what'd you think?
I think that the original Predator is something that you really have to be a fan of it to really enjoy it, because otherwise it's just kind of your run-of-the-mill monster movie that's sort of been made really famous and notorious for all of its spin-offs and all the things that they try to do with it, when I really don't think there's that much to it, because a lot of what makes the first Predator movie work is the idea that, you know, the Predator is something unknown. It's something invisible. It is something that hunts, and the fear of it and the fear of not knowing what it is better than when you start to look at its technology and look at really what makes it. Like, let's get an origin story of the Predator. Let's really get to know the Predator. It's like, well, no, because that dampens the effect of the monster and not knowing where the heck it is at all times. And, it just... The first one also had that kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger charm to it. It had, a lot of corny lines peppered in. And just... It was just fine. It was fine.
Without kind of repeating everything you just basically exactly said, I think the first film is a perfectly acceptable B-movie. The second one is extremely forgettable. Maybe better than Alien 3 and 4, but the 2010 reboot I actually don't mind. I think that's kind of the best rendition of the Predator, but this movie... Oh, and I haven't seen the Alien vs. Predator movies, but I do like the Alien lore way better. I'm just not into Predator, and, they're cool, I guess, but, nothing to really, reflect on and be like, oh, no, this is just a genius, because it's not. But this new movie, I thought it was just okay. It was pretty basic. Well, what did you think of it?
It really doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, but it's not going to be the worst movie that you've ever seen this year. It's not going to be the best movie you've seen this year, but it's just fine. Starting with the fact that they try to do things that you've never seen before. And there are things you've never seen before. The action consistently keeps you engaged. It's paced pretty well, pretty traditionally, but I don't really think there's much in there that people who aren't fans of the Predator franchise, there's not much that they're really going to be able to take away from it other than, all right, that was kind of cool. But for fans of the franchise, there's a lot of Predator action, there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of, rated R speak and language, and pretty much everything it's rated for, you're pretty much going to get. It's almost as if they kind of just made a checklist of everything that you were going to want out of the film if you're a Predator fan, and they did it in the film. Doesn't exactly make for a great film because they really try to stress the sci-fi, when if you watch the original Predator, it really is down to an action film. It's an action film.
Exactly. There's something about that first film that not only feels contained, but they set up everything pretty well. Besides that first act when they're focusing on the hostages, they are hunting each other, and I like that. And it's in the forest, and you get to slowly reveal the Predator, what he is with the blood and everything, and it's pretty cool. In this one, I'm not kidding you, right off the bat, within the first 5 minutes, the cold open, you see the Predator in full wide shot, and it's like, oh, we're just getting to the action, because the main character's introduction, he not only meets the Predator, but he fights it, he shoots it, he gets the technology, and it's like, okay, well, we're just having an action movie here then. There's nothing really worth mentioning except the fact that it's just fine. Olivia Munn, okay, without the controversy aside, I think what they do with her is pretty reckless, and her introduction, she's in the dog park, and a bunch of men come up to her and it's like, we need you to come with us because you're a biologist, you're a scientist, and then she's like, oh, Predator knowledge, I know that for some reason. And then you have the main character who mails the Predator equipment to his son Jacob Tremblay, and then long story short, the Predator's like, we need your son because he knows how to activate it, and it's like, well, okay. And then you meet this like ragtag group of teams called the Loonies, and I can perfectly describe this movie as loony. It's wild, it's insane, it's not good, it's not bad, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the one thing they kind of try to do is establish the fact that the humans are also predators as well, and in trying to determine what kind of tech they have, and the midpoint twist that I won't give away because I don't think it was obvious in the trailer, so I don't want anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled to be spoiled, but they try something interesting that there's not really they don't put a lot of thought into. The narrative works fine, but the depth of every plot point doesn't exactly inspire much. But I don't think that's what this film is here to do, and it's really just one of those films where you watch it and you're like, yeah, okay, that's kind of what I expected. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people are saying it is. I'm not sure what sort of reviews are out there, and
no, I don't think it deserves a 30%, maybe the 50s when it first started off,
Yeah, that is probably... It's not a good film, but it's
a perfectly acceptable, entertaining one.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably give it not an accept as a gift. Well, for Predator fans, I would, but a red box, because I think that...
Oh, yeah, just watch it at home. I mean, if you have, the stuff that's coming out in theaters, like... Movie Pass has gone A-list, hint, hint. You can see it in IMAX like we did with a pretty packed theater, and like they were fans. They were like, applauding at the right moments and everything, and you can get good sound. But like you said, just watch it at home if you can. I don't know if it's like worth Netflix, because it's a little bit more cinematic than that. But yeah, just see it if you can, or if you're a fan. But overall, like you said, a lot of inconsistencies. Good action. There's more set pieces here, which is good, I guess. But then again, I'm not really a fan of the lore, so it's like, well, anything you do, I'm just gonna be like, man, that was cool, I guess. But yeah, I would agree with you. It's like a C+ movie for me, and a red box.
Yeah. I think that's really all I have to say. It's one of the shorter ones, but yeah. I don't think I don't think there's that much thought that needs to be put into it.
I have another note. I don't think this is a stamp on Shane Black. I think, at least personally, it's his worst film. Not only do they not, showcase Christmas, but Halloween? Like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, it is almost Halloween, so I guess that makes sense, but it didn't feel like anyone could have made this. It didn't feel like, it's a Shane Black movie because, he was in the first Predator, so he has to make this, right? I'm like, well, there's no vision, there's no statement. I guess there's a cool little Easter egg at the end with the technology. Like, I won't spoil it, but it's like, sequel bait, here it comes. I'm the main character, I'm going to put this on. I'm like, I guess we're doing this. But, no, it was fine. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really all there is to say. I mean, if you kind of want to see this because you really want to see it, go see it. If you want to see it out of sheer curiosity, I'd also recommend seeing it. If you don't want to waste your time, don't waste your time. I don't think there's... Whatever your thought process is, if you think there's something salvageable in this movie, I think there is, but if you're completely turned off to the idea, I would not recommend going to see this. Wait till it comes out.
You said it best. Well.
Yep. So, so before you go see a movie, check in with us first. Thanks for listening.
I think you know what is on the ship. The ultimate predators.